But there's certain parts I saw and I'm like, yo, that's offensive. And then I'm laughing my ass off because it's hilarious. So,
Do you remember any off the top of your head?
oh,
No pressure if you do.
absolutely, man.
Okay.
I wrote them down. Uh, in episode 13, or I'm lying, not episode 13, episode 5, Haiti and the Tramp.
Right. I remember.
That episode was just it was just out of control. Like some of the things, like the whole scene is a scene where Walter, which Walter, he's not a new character, but he was just getting hella shine this season. I feel like he was in almost every episode. He was just getting a lot of
Right.
shine, which was cool. He had his reasoning and and the reason why he was being highlighted. And but I feel like it was our first introduction to Walter being this like ladies man who's addicted to sex and that's all
Right.
he wants. He doesn't want to settle down, and him and Haiti lady, they're always going at it. But to me, when I was watching it, I was thinking about uh, these domestic violence because they literally argued, and it led to sex, and then they would break it down. They would be like, "Hey, we suck out as a couple, but when we argue, we have bomb sex." And in my head, I was just like, "It's kind of like that can be something like that's in some ways promoting, you know,
Toxic relationships.
yeah, yeah." Um,
But
so so I so episodes like that, and then just I'll stick to that episode. Just the process on how it went along and the jokes about him, the dick jokes, and it was just a lot of over the top things that if you're paying attention, you're like, wait, did they just say that?
right.
And that was just one of the episodes, but it happens all the time. And like I said, I can see how someone who's watching this for the first time, someone who's not familiar with the show, can be offended by it. I wasn't, but I was just like, yo, this is a little too much.
I like that you bring that episode up because when I was watching it, we talked about in the last episode, we talked about the characters have a reality to them. So when I saw Walter in that episode, I automatically thought of someone I knew who's my age who acts exactly like that. And I was gonna text him and be like, "Yo, bro, you remind me of Walter from the PJs." Because yeah, I mean the same type of demeanor. But I understand the how it comes off as being toxic, and I think it's more so like within our culture and how we view relationships. But my perspective is there's an awareness to it, right? It's not they weren't using each other, they weren't taking advantage of each other. They both were like, hey, this is the only dynamic that works for us, so let's just keep enjoying it as much as we can. That's kind of my perspective on it.
But
But
come on,
I definitely hear that.
let's be real. It took them the entire episode. Haiti lady was all over Walter. It got to a point where Walter was scared to speak up for himself, and Super had to. Matter of fact, Super tried to help but couldn't even help. So they went through this whole process of not being honest, not being forthcoming. She started showing up to his things. He was getting frustrated, and it was just a whole. It was just way too. It was exactly what, to your point. I've seen it before.
It was too real for you. That's the problem. It was too real for you.
It was too real for me.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. I get that. I get that, man.
But the episode was hilarious. Haiti lady's like, man, I wish I could find love. I want to get married. Da, da, da. And then she's like, Walter, you're going to be my husband. And that was fun. And that was funny. And, again, you're absolutely right. It's how you take it, how you take it in. Even they had a little sex scene where Walter is like, she's trying to talk to Walter, and he's like, "How about I get back in that?" Like, and she's like, "No, Walter, I'm being for real." And he's like, "I'm being for real too." And then she has him handcuffed to the bed, and it's just like, what is happening here?
Man.
I thought it was hilarious, but again, it could be a little too much.